I was just wondering what your thoughts were on Exodus 9:12. Did Pharaoh have free will? Let's go to Exodus 9:12 together. But the Lord hardened the heart of Pharaoh, and he did not listen to them, as the Lord had spoken to Moses. Absolutely. This is so great for like an example of like our sort of social media world. We tend to live in a world where we catch snippets of what people say, and often out of context, and then we misunderstand what they mean. This happens a lot, and it's something we have to guard ourselves against. I have to guard myself against. I hear a teacher say something, and I go, "Whoa, that didn't seem right," and I don't realize what the context was when they said it, and so then I think they've got bad teaching. In reality, sometimes it's just like, I just got it out of context. So here, let's put this in context. Okay, the Lord hardened the heart of Pharaoh. Let me see if I can find the passages I'd like to share with you on this. Okay, I'm searching for Pharaoh's heart being hard, because it occurs several times in the book of Exodus. We were just in Exodus chapter 9. Here's us in Exodus 12. It says that Pharaoh's heart grew hard, and he did not heed them as the Lord had said. Okay, well, Pharaoh's heart grew hard. That's interesting. But that's not something that it says God did. That's something that Pharaoh, his heart is doing. So God's not directly doing. This is important to recognize this, because this matters when we understand the causal nature of what happened to Pharaoh's heart. So the Lord said to Moses, Pharaoh's heart is hard, right? But what happened? Well, his heart grew hard on its own. In this case, in this particular situation. Let me see. We have in verse 14 and verse 22, Pharaoh's heart grows hard again, and he doesn't heed them. This is when Moses does the snake thing, and the Egyptians do their things, and all this stuff. And his heart grows hard again. It's not God as the agent here. And it could easily have said God hardened Pharaoh's heart here, but it doesn't. It says that his heart grew hard. So we get this other times as well. Exodus 8:19, Pharaoh's heart grew hard. Again, it's just this thing his heart is doing on its own. God is not directly causal in that. And then finally, we get to your passage, which is Exodus 9:12. Well, I guess I could go to 9:7 first. The heart of Pharaoh became hard again. Okay, but this is, again, he's on his own. And then chronologically, finally at the end, we have God hardened Pharaoh's heart. And that was in Exodus 9:12, the verse you gave. The Lord hardened the heart of Pharaoh. What are we getting from this? That it's not just a single action on behalf of God, that God is actually just hardening Pharaoh's heart. And I have a whole study on this topic. I'm going to link, but I'm going to give you the quick summary. So mods, if you can find my study, Why God Hardens Hearts, and post that in the video description or in the live chat, and I'll put it in the description down below. If you're watching later, it'll be there momentarily. And the issue here is this. God hardened Pharaoh's heart, but the question is, how did this take place? Well, it took place as Pharaoh hardened his own heart through seeing the things God was doing and choosing to reject them. Moses gives a sign. Moses brings a plague. Pharaoh sees it, hardens his heart, decides not to let the people go. It happens again. His heart becomes hard again. So Pharaoh is active in the hardening of his own heart. This is key. This is very important. What we see in the end is this picture of God hardening hearts, is that there are people who are, because of their own sinful attitudes, they're disposed against God. And God shows them miracles. God shows them light. God gives them truth. And because of their attitudes, they reject the light. They close their eyes to the truth, and they become harder. So God, by showing them himself in glory, effectively hardens their hearts because they are wicked. Do you understand what's happening here is, I like this analogy. When I was a kid, there's times where I would want to ask something of a parent, and I knew if I ask them right now, they will just get mad and they will say no for sure. Right? Like if I'd asked them, I would have, by asking them, I would have hardened their hearts because they were in an attitude that would have made them say no to me, because that's just the way it was. This isn't like, I wouldn't recommend this as parenting advice. Don't be like that. Don't make your kids like check your eye expressions before they know if they can talk to you or not. But that's how it was. And so in the same sense, God knows, hey, Pharaoh is so against me in his attitude, that when I show his miracles, when I show my miracles and I demand for him to let my people go, he will harden his own heart. If I ask him now, he'll harden his heart. So God hardens his heart by showing him miracles, hardens his heart by demonstrating his power, hardens his heart by demanding he let the people go. God's not hardening his heart by doing heart surgery. He's hardening his heart by confronting wicked Pharaoh with light, and Pharaoh closes his eyes. This is what Jesus does in the Gospels when he shows his miracles to the Pharisees and they reject him. It hardens their hearts, but only by him doing the very thing that would soften the heart of the person who's open to God. So we don't see this sort of like single cause thing where God just grabs someone's heart and goes, I'm going to make you reject me. But no, it's like, you're going to reject me. And as I show you more light, you're going to reject me even more because you're going to harden your heart. I'll harden it by showing you more light. That's how I see it. And I get into great detail, share a ton of different scriptures on the topic of God hardening hearts in the video I'll link in the live chat as well as down below.